Happy New Year. Sawadi Be Mai. I want to talk today about New Year's resolutions and why it is that we break 99% of them. And the truth is, we only need one New Year's resolution. And if we keep that one, all the others will be easy. And if we don't keep that one, all the others will be probably impossible. And this is the reason why. It's the same reason as if you were to get on the same train and expect to arrive at a different destination. It's not possible. In order to arrive at a different destination, you need to get on a different train, a new train that goes to a different destination. What are these trains? There's trains of thought and trains of behavior. We understand trains of thought when we consider the fact that when we lose our train of thought, we fumble. We're looking for how do we get back on that train so that we can, and then we just follow along. It doesn't require any active process. We're on a train of thought. That expression helps us realize that thinking is really not an active process, but rather we are the passengers on that train. We're not the conductors and we're not the engineers. We're the passengers. And so we travel on that train of thought. And the same thing goes for trains of behavior, which are many times relayed through attitude. Attitude is a combination of trains of thought and trains of behavior. A certain specific attitude is like a hallway that you get to, and you open the door and you see there are several distinct hallways leading to certain responses, behaviors, and thoughts that are associated with that attitude. So an attitude of pessimism will lead only down those sorts of corridors. So these are the trains of thoughts and the trains of behavior. And again, behavior is not an active process. It's not something that we're busy doing. When we're driving the car, taking a shower, walking down the street, brushing our teeth, we're not doing that. Our minds are thinking about next week or last week or regrets or whatever. That's all on automatic. So most behavior is, again, on a train of behavior. And we have to understand that. Now, these trains that we're talking about are the housing of our brain and of our mind. And the big problem with these trains is that they're toxic. We all know that. We all could eat better. We all could have more honest relationships. We all could exercise more or exercise less crazy, less intense, less obsessive. So there are many things we could put on our own specific resolution list. But again, if we're getting into that same habit, that same toxic situation, we're going to wind up at the same destination. Okay, so what is the only one that we need to do? The only resolution we need to do? We need to go to bed early. Why do we need to go to bed early? Because when we sleep in cycles, 90-minute cycles. 90-minute cycles are a ratio of what's called non-REM sleep and REM sleep. Now, REM is rapid eye movement. And rapid eye movement or dreaming is when you see someone and their eyes are moving a lot. We see that in dogs a lot, they're dreaming. And that's just letting off steam. For example, if you have a steam kettle and it's blowing whistle out, the kettle won't blow up. If you block that vent, it's going to blow up. It's the same thing with dreams. So memories and fears and almost situations and all of that come together in what we call dreaming, and they're all mixed together, and they're really not metaphorical for anything. We're not gonna analyze a dream and understand something metaphorical about our lives. These are just letting off steams. Now, non-REM sleep is the period where it's a deeper period of sleep, and there's no active mind going on, and what's happening is the body is being restored. So all the restorative functions that are required from a day's busy work and accumulations of wastes and just general wear and tear is repaired during the non-REM sleep, and almost exclusively during non-REM sleep. So when we first go to sleep, the ratio of non-REM to REM is that we go to sleep directly into a non-REM, and that 90-minute interval is about it's more dominated by the non-REM, and so there's more restorative actions going on: tissue repair, protein synthesis, hormone secretion, and finally intracellular recycling of old dead mitochondria or dysfunctional mitochondria or viruses or bacteria or any other cellular waste that's in there, because there's no food coming in because you're sleeping, this cellular waste gets recycled. And now new mitochondria are produced, so there's more energy. And then extracellularly, we have all these physiological, urine production is changed, blood pressure is changed, cardiovascular function is changed. So the metabolic processes are modified, appetite is changed. So all of these things happen. And we do know there's a lot of really good data showing that sleep deprivation is related to obesity. It's related to hypertension. It's related to coronary artery disease. It's related to many things. In fact, people who get less than 7 hours sleep a night are at 3 times risk of getting a common cold, increased risk of getting a common cold. So sleep deprivation is related to that. Now, these cycles that we were talking about are pretty much set. We are diurnal creatures. We are not nocturnal creatures. We are diurnal creatures, and our biology and our anatomy is established that way. And we have to live with it, just like we have to live with the fact that we don't have gills and we don't have wings. So there's certain things we can't do. And because we have legs and arms and a frontal lobe and all that stuff, there are certain things we can do. So this is just part of our anatomy and physiology. So the diurnal nature is what we call a circadian rhythm. And the circadian rhythm is throughout the day, in that 24-hour day, our body is, certain systems are changing. Mental and physical abilities and propensities are being changed. And all of this seems to be regulated by light. Now there's a little grain of rice-sized structure in our brains called the suprachiasmatic nucleus, or the biological clock. Now, light goes into our eyes through the retina, stimulates an electrical response, which goes to the suprachiasmatic nucleus, which then is a relay station and activates all these different brain centers, which we talked about, hormone regulation, etc., blood pressure, metabolism, all those sorts of things. Okay, so now it's activated by light, which means when the light is not there anymore, and of course one of them is the pineal gland, which produces melatonin. Now that's activated by darkness. Okay, so it's unactivated or inactivated or turned off when there's light. Okay, so now, no matter what time you go to bed, by 2 a.m. or 3 a.m., the ratio changes. Okay, so now you're going to have less deep non-REM sleep. You're going to have more lighter non-REM sleep, and then you're going to have more REM sleep. Okay, so you're more in letting off steam and less in restoration. So if you've gone to bed at 10 or 11, you're only going to get a short time to restore. Not much. If you go to bed at 7 or 8, you're going to get a longer time to restore, and you're going to wake up with that restored function. So ability to clean up and recycle the intracellular debris that results from daily living is associated with hunger. When you're hungry, that is, you're not bringing nutrients in, that's when that little process gets turned on by a system of little organelles inside the cell called the lysosomal system. The lysosomal system eats up stuff and recycles it and all that. That gets turned on when we experience what we call hunger. So if you go to bed full, that part of the process won't happen for a while. Maybe it won't happen until 2 or 3 in the morning, and then what's happening? Now you're in less restorative function and you're more into letting off steam function, so you don't get as clean a restoration. You don't have as much energy. Okay, you just simply can't. So going to bed early and not having eaten for 3 or 4 hours will allow the most incredible opportunity to wake up with a new train, and you jump on that train and you will go to new destinations. Happy New Year.